Hi, this is Scott Savage with the Sawtooth Avalanche Center with your weekend update for January 1st, 2021. So, first of all, Happy New Year's to everyone. Hopefully, one of your resolutions is to work less and ride, ski, shred, shroud, just tear up more powder than you ever have before this year. And then another one of your resolutions, hopefully, is to check the forecast at sawtoothavalanche.com every morning. So this weekend update, it doesn't replace the daily forecast. It's meant to give you a review of what's happened and kind of a sneak peek or preview into what we think might be going on the next few days. So with that, we'll dive right into it. So the ingredients for an avalanche. Well, first you need a slope. This is going to be a review for pretty much everyone out here, and you get to decide whether you're in avalanche terrain or not. Then you need a weak layer. And we've been talking about it for weeks or almost a month at this point. We've got a really widespread layer of just weak, sugary, crumbly, faceted junk. And that's throughout the forecast area. And then the big kind of variable that we've seen is the slab. So whether we've had enough of a slab above that really widespread weak snow to cause significant avalanche problems. And we'll dive into that a little bit more here. Don't get too scared. It's kind of a complicated looking graph, but I'll boil it down and make it really simple. So on the bottom, we have the date. And there on the left-hand side, you see the weak layer gets buried on, that's roughly December 11th, 12th. And then sliding out along the bottom legend or axis there, we go out to last weekend, the 12, 26, 27. So the last time that we got some snow. And then on the vertical axis, all those fancy colored lines, those are all the SNOTEL sites and other weather stations that we have within the forecast area, how much SWE or snow water equivalent each of those have received. So since that weak layer got buried. This is kind of a cool chart that Ben from the Avalanche Center put together that we use and look at. So we're going to not focus on any individual ones. We're just going to look at a few big trends. So back around the 20th or 21st of December, we had that kind of warm, wet storm that favored the Sawtooths, Western Smokies, and Banner Summit area. And we had an avalanche warning out, high danger, and just a really widespread avalanche cycle. So tons of natural avalanches. We saw over 100 in that time period. And that was due to that big bump where those 4 or 5 weather stations that we're seeing that are in that area received a lot of precipitation. And then we have last weekend where we got not a lot of snow, but it was just enough that we saw a nice big natural slide up by Savior Peak in the Owl Creek drainage up at the headwaters of that. And then we had 4 human triggered avalanches around Galena Summit. So on the Titus side and the Galena Peak side of Galena Summit itself. And those 2 weather stations that are circled, that's Lower Titus and Dollarhide, which are kind of representative of that area. So it wasn't a big storm like the one on the 20th and 21st, but it's just enough to get things going where we saw some kind of what we would call piecemeal activity where you could trigger avalanches, and there were some significant larger avalanches too. So there's that slide up Owl Creek, really pretty picture that Ben took. Definitely a large enough slide that it could have buried people. You would not want to be in that. And if you want to look at the human triggered avalanches, if you go to our website at sawtoothavalanche.com and you click on the observations tab, that's kind of on the menu bar at the top, and you hover over that or click on it and it gives you choices there: observations, view avalanches, human triggered avalanches. So if then you click on human triggered avalanches, it takes you straight to a chart that shows all the human triggered avalanches. You can further filter that down by date, size, location, some other things. And then you see on the left-hand side where you have the date, you just click on one of those blue hyperlinks and that'll take you straight to some specific information about that particular avalanche, that human triggered slide. So a great way for you to quickly get some of that bullseye data that, can't stress how important that is, knowing if people are triggering avalanches around where you're thinking about going. So where does that leave us? We have this area that's circled there on the right, or this group of weather stations that haven't got enough snow to really tip the scales and go into that widespread natural avalanche activity mode, or where it gets super, super dangerous. In contrast to the 4 above it there that have received more water over in the wetter part of our area. graphically, or looking at it geographically, the area that I kind of hack sketched out there in red, those are the areas that haven't really received enough snowfall and SWE to tip the scales into that just dramatically unstable condition. So it's about 2/3 of the forecast area: Soldiers, Wood River Valley, Galena Summit, up through the boulders, White Clouds, and some of the foothills up around Stanley in the White Clouds. So there, those areas we still have the weak layer. We just haven't really had enough of a slab or stiff enough slab on top to have that widespread unstable avalanche conditions. So there's, as always, the $1,000,000 question: what's it going to take to tip the scales? We're kind of stuck in this conditionally stable area where things are kind of balanced between stable and unstable. There's some slopes out there that you can trigger right now, and there are a lot of slopes that you can't trigger right now. So we'll dive into that a little bit. The easy answer is down around the Wood River Valley. This picture on the upper left is Lake Creek up by Triple Peaks. Ethan was there a couple days ago, and really obvious weak layer in the middle of the snowpack there, that gray, dirty looking faceted layer. There was even a little surface ore mixed in, but just super weak snow. It's not going to take a lot of a load. Right now, there's only about 8 inches of snow above it. So it's just not that dangerous or hazardous. It's weak, but generally stable. Baker Creek, I was out there earlier this week, and similar snowpack with a little more snow. So there's about a foot of snow on top of that weak faceted layer, but kind of you have these facets that are just biding their time, waiting to rear their ugly heads with avalanche activity. So the weather forecast, as has been the case for a lot of this year and a lot of in many years, snowfall coming up in the short term is going to favor the northern and western mountains, meaning Banner Summit, the Sawtooths, Western Smokies, and over in the Soldiers as well. So we should see some light showers Friday night and Saturday, and then a little bit better, more vigorous system Saturday night and through the day Sunday, with moderate snowfall and wind in some locations. So we will see some blowing and drifting snow with that one on Sunday. If we look at that kind of over the forecast area, best guess is by Sunday evening that we'll get 4 to 10 inches up around Banner, the Sawtooths, Western Smokies, and around the Soldiers, and probably on the order of 3 to 6 inches around Galena Summit and over in the White Clouds. And sorry, but probably closer to 1 to 3 inches in the Pioneers, Wood River Valley Mountains, and the Southern Boulders. But all hope is not lost. As we get into the middle of the week, and we haven't seen this really this year, if you look at that upper left-hand graph there, which is the Baldy area, so Sun Valley, you see the big bump up in snow, or, well, what is that? It's saying like 18 inches between now and Wednesday, with the bulk of that coming on kind of the Monday night, Tuesday storm. So I would say take it with a grain of salt. There's a lot of uncertainty with weather forecasts that are that far out. And you can see that as evidenced by these graphs are a compilation of a lot of different weather models. The red lines give you kind of the average. And if you look at there for Baldy, some models are saying as much as 35 to 40 inches a week from now, or some models are saying 5 to 8 inches by a week from now. But it's looking a lot more promising that there may be more of a southerly component to this, and it may not skip the Wood River Valley with the storm that's coming early in the work week. So you may need to save up your get out of work free cards, even though you've been probably off for a lot of the last 2 weeks with holidays, but might be a powder day, you never know, coming up sometime this week. So what's it all mean? Well, we're going to see some increase in avalanche danger on Sunday. It may be kind of minor, or it may bump up a full level on the avalanche danger scale. It remains to be seen how much snow we get and how windy it gets, and how much snowfall there is in the particular area where you're playing. But I would expect conditions to change and get more dangerous on Sunday. It may be enough snow that we tip the scales and make some of those ugly faceted layers in the middle of the pack rear their ugly heads, and we see some significant avalanche activity, which they're going to be larger, those avalanches failing on that layer. And I would guess we'd also see some kind of newer snow, so wind slab, that kind of thing, where the snowpack's deeper. So out in the Banner Summit, Sawtooth, Western Smoky, those areas, I think that's kind of a given that if we get 4 to 10 inches of snow and some winds, it will see some new slabs forming. And then there's a lot of uncertainty with that larger storm coming on Monday and Tuesday. If it does pan out and hits the Wood River Valley mountains with a significant shot of snow, things will come quickly unglued if we do get a lot of snow. Then it's still a ways out, so stay tuned, and I guess keep your fingers crossed, because even if you can't be in avalanche terrain, fresh powder is always a good thing. So you can visit our website at sawtoothavalanche.com, and please do check the forecast each morning at 7:30. We issue it. This is not a replacement for the daily forecast. So, please do check that to get the most current and most accurate information each morning. You can sign up to have it emailed to you. I'm not sure if everyone's aware of that. If you go to the bottom of any page on our website in the center there, all you need to do is type in your email address and click the button, and that'll get you signed up. So you get that in your inbox every day. You get the avalanche forecast. Observations are huge for us. We're covering over 3,000 square miles with 1 or 2 of us out in the field every day. So please let us know what you're seeing, especially when we have these changing conditions and snowfall, so we don't have a lot of good visibility. It's really tough to have a good picture of what's going on over such a large area. So there are a lot of different ways you can submit the observations. We're not looking for detailed snow pit info necessarily. If you see any avalanches, take a picture and send it to us. If you go out and have a blast and don't see any avalanches, just say that we were out high marking slopes or skiing steep things and no avalanche activity. And you can send it via text, email, social media, or we have a form on the website. And it's the same thing, the bottom of every page on the website at sawtoothavalanche.com on the left-hand side. You can click the button to submit them. The text number's on there to send it to us. You can hashtag or use @ on social media. SawtoothAvi is our handle. And feel free to message us, whether it's Instagram or Facebook directly. Any one of those work. So thanks, snow, and have some fun out there. And here's to 2021 being a better snow year in so many other ways than 2020. Thanks again.